Welcome to Tale of Deception Studio. Share your location and share an instance where someone's overconfidence led to their demise. I once held the belief that love equated unwavering trust, that marriage was a sanctuary devoid of secrets. Regrettably, I discovered through heartache that those closest to us can inflict the most devastating betrayals. My name is Michael, and this is the account of how my wife's lover's arrogance became the tool I employed to bring them both down. For 5 years, Victoria and I had been married. To outsiders, we appeared as the epitome of the ideal couple. She was a successful marketing executive in a prestigious company while I worked in software development, together creating what others admired as an exceptional lifestyle. A comfortable home in the suburbs, 2 cars, yearly vacations to locations envied by our friends, but for the past year and a half, something had been subtly changing. Victoria was spending more nights at work. Weekend business trips had become commonplace. She acquired new passions, unfamiliar acquaintances, and an unforeseen guardedness over her phone. I don't typically harbor suspicion. I accepted her reasons. Marketing ventures often demand extensive work hours. Client gatherings can take place during weekends, but there were minor inconsistencies that didn't seem to align. High-end garments I hadn't observed her purchasing. A novel perfume she mentioned was a present from her sibling. Late-night messages she would casually attribute to work crises. The first genuine breach of my trust occurred on a Thursday in March at 9 p.m. Victoria was said to be at a client dinner that ran late. I decided to surprise her with food from her favorite restaurant and waited for her in the parking lot of her office building. However, her car wasn't there. At 9 p.m., when she had informed me that she'd been in meetings since 6, I stayed in that parking lot for 2 hours, witnessing the building empty out, seeing the security lights turn on. Upon arriving home at 11:30 p.m., she recounted an extended tale about the client dinner that ran late, their relocation to a second venue, and her phone dying. I chose not to question her, although I should have. I didn't wish to be perceived as a suspicious husband. I didn't desire to be the man who couldn't rely on his wife, which was my initial error. For 3 months, I attempted to convince myself that I was hallucinating, but the indicators continued to accumulate. Victoria displayed emotional detachment. She would flinch when I touched her unpredictably. She began doing laundry by herself, an action she had never performed during our entire relationship. The tipping point occurred in June. Victoria was embarking on one of her enigmatic weekend business trips to a conference in Atlanta, leaving her laptop behind, which was unusual. As I needed to print some documents for my job, I accessed her laptop and discovered that her email was still logged in. I told myself I was merely searching for printer settings, but upon finding emails from an individual named Alex with subject lines like "already missing you" and "eager for this weekend," I found myself unable to resist reading them. The emails dated back 8 months. They were explicit, intimate, and contained details about our shared life that Alex shouldn't have been aware of. They spoke of the hardship Victoria faced in maintaining a facade of normalcy at home, her eagerness to leave me. The portrayal of me as clueless and dull. However, the most disturbing aspect was reading Victoria's replies. The woman I had been married to for 5 years, who had pledged to love and respect me, was discussing our intimate moments and joking about how effortless it was to deceive me. That weekend, I was ensnared in a cloud of betrayal and anger. Upon her return Sunday evening, cheerful and affectionate, Victoria regaled me with stories about the conference, which I now knew were fabricated. I remained silent. I needed time to understand, to decide my course of action. On Tuesday morning, as usual, Victoria left for work. I was working from home, attempting to concentrate on code reviews, but ended up mainly staring at my computer screen when my phone rang. An unidentified number flashed on the screen. "Is this Michael?" The voice was male, self-assured, amused. "Yes, who is this?" "This is Alex. I believe we need to talk." A chill ran down my spine. This was him, Victoria's affair partner, contacting me directly. "What about Victoria?" I asked, though my hand trembled as I held the phone. "About your wife, Michael. About Victoria and me. Here's what I did that likely saved my life in a legal sense. I have an application on my phone that automatically records calls for business purposes. It is completely legal in my state, given that one party consents, and I am always the consenting party. The app was active at the time. What about Victoria?" I inquired. "She hadn't informed you," Alex chuckled. It was a cruel, mocking sound. She claimed she would handle it, but apparently she changed her mind. "Michael, I'm speaking candidly. Victoria and I have been in a relationship for almost a year now. She intends to end things with you. I find it hard to believe you. Don't you think I'm lying?" His tone became more abrasive. Let me convince you, on Tuesday when she told you she was working late, she was with me at the downtown Marriott room 412, wearing the blue dress you bought her for your anniversary. She mentioned that it was indeed a gift from you. She found humor in wearing your present while she was with me. Every word felt like a physical blow. The detail about the blue dress was precise, true. I had purchased it for our anniversary. Why are you contacting me? I inquired. Because I'm tired of waiting, Michael. She keeps saying she needs more time, that she needs to find the right way to leave you, but honestly, she never truly loved you. She told me she chose you because you were safe, because you had a good job and would provide her stability, but she never genuinely loved you. The harshness in his voice was staggering. She's with me because I'm what she truly desires. I'm the embodiment of a genuine man, a car I can be proud of, destinations that excite her, feelings she's never known from you. If she chooses to leave, so be it, I said, my voice composed despite my unease. She will. But Michael, there's a catch. She's concerned about the money, the house, the assets, the mundane aspects where you excel. She wants to secure her share after enduring 5 years with you. It was then I realized this wasn't just an affair. They had a calculated financial strategy. So here's the gist, Alex continued. She'll soon file for divorce and you'll likely relinquish half or more of everything. If you resist, if you try to contest this, I'll ensure everyone knows the truth about the kind of husband you really are to your colleagues, family, and friends. I'll ensure they understand you couldn't fulfill your own wife's desires. Are you issuing threats, Michael? I'm clarifying the situation. She belongs to me now. For months, the only query is whether you'll acknowledge this with grace or if we'll have to humiliate you publicly. Then he spoke words that sealed his destiny. Confront Michael. You never stood a chance. She never loved you. She never will love you, and quite frankly, I can't fault her. You're the kind of man women resort to when they can't obtain what they truly desire. But she no longer needs to settle. The call concluded. I remained in my home office for 20 minutes, repeatedly playing that recording. Not due to pleasure from pain, but to document every admission, every threat, every shred of evidence Alex had just provided me. He verified the affair with specifics. He sketched out their strategy to manipulate the divorce proceedings. He'd threatened to ruin my reputation, and he did so during a conversation I was legally recording. Immediately, I consulted my business lawyer, not a divorce attorney, someone who could navigate complex financial situations without personal bias. Tom, it's crucial we meet today. I have a recording you need to hear, and I require guidance on potential outcomes. What type of recording is this, Michael? A recording that will significantly impact my life. Over the subsequent 2 weeks, I underwent a transformation. During daylight hours, I maintained normality around Victoria. I continued as her predictable, dependable spouse, a role that Alex had previously ridiculed. However, each evening after Victoria retired for the night, I was amassing evidence. With my lawyer's help, I was beginning to comprehend the magnitude of our findings. The phone call served as damning proof of infidelity. But even more crucially, it exposed a plot to defraud me during divorce negotiations. Your threats towards my reputation, which could be perceived as harassment or extortion, depended on their severity. We engaged the services of a private investigator, not to prove the affair since it had been confirmed for us, but to compile evidence of their actions, assets, and weaknesses. I discovered that Alex was married as well. His spouse remained unaware of our affair. He held a senior position at a law firm with a tarnished reputation if his conduct became public knowledge. Victoria was not aware that I possessed this information. Neither of them suspected that their secret had been turned into my advantage. It wasn't until a Friday evening in July that Victoria requested the divorce. She had rehearsed a speech discussing growing apart, desiring different things, and hoping to maintain our friendship. The papers were prepared by a lawyer, not Alex, as they were cautious about preserving the connection that afforded her more than she was entitled to under state law. She considered it reasonable, she stated, pushing the documents towards our kitchen table. I understand this is difficult, Michael, but I expect you'll be fair-minded about this. She desired the house, half my retirement savings, half my stocks for another 2 years, and alimony for 5 years. It appears considerable, Victoria. I invested 5 years into this marriage, Michael. I supported your profession. I managed our social life. I made compromises. I believe I deserve to begin anew without financial strain. Her performance was impressive. She seemed genuinely concerned with fairness and regretful about the divorce. Had I not known about Alex, had I not heard that conversation, I might have agreed. I need some time to ponder this, I replied. Of course, but Michael, I hope you won't prolong it. I hope you won't turn this into a contentious matter. We can both move forward with grace if we approach this sensibly. The word grace stirred the memory of Alex's voice. Apart from expressing it with dignity, he had stated, "Victoria, is there another person?" This question took her by surprise. "What? No, Michael, why do you ask that? I was merely curious. This seems unexpected to you, but not to me. I've been unhappy for quite a while now. I've only just found the courage to address it." Another statement uttered with perfect sincerity. On the following Monday, I requested a lunch date from Victoria. I recommended a secluded restaurant for our private conversation. She accepted, most likely expecting to discuss divorce terms. In my possession was a folder containing items, a transcript of Alex's call, photos taken by the private investigator, copies of emails I discovered, and a counterproposal regarding our divorce. Before we discussed the divorce, I wished to play something for you. I placed my phone on the table and pressed play. The sound of Alex's voice filled the space between us. "She never truly loved you. She admitted she chose you due to your safety." Victoria paled, then reddened, then paled again. "She's with me because I'm her real desire. You, Michael, are what a small man resembles." "Shut it off," Victoria murmured. "She's concerned about the money, the house, the possessions, all that mundane stuff you likely excel in managing. She wants to ensure she gets what she's entitled to." "Shut it off," she said more forcefully. I halted the recording. "That was Alex, your Alex. He contacted me 3 weeks ago to outline the plan." Victoria seemed fixed on the phone, as if it might bite her. "He told me about room 412 at Marriott, about the blue dress, about your divorce strategy, about how you never loved me." "Michael, I can clarify." I pulled out the folder. "Alex is married. His wife Claire has no idea about the two of you. At Morrison and Associates, where Alex is a senior partner, there exists an honor code in partnership contracts that upholds high moral standards. However, Alex was unaware of the fact that his actions, such as damaging someone's reputation and defrauding them during divorce proceedings, are illegal in this state. These acts fall under the category of criminal harassment with a fraudulent intent." Victoria had stopped looking at me and was now focused on the photograph I had placed before her. "Here's what will transpire, Victoria. You will receive a just divorce settlement as per the state law. This includes 50% of marital assets obtained throughout our marriage, no alimony, no house, and no unvested stock options. Alternatively, I presented another document to you. This contains recordings of our conversations, photographs, and an account of your financial conspiracy that will be forwarded to Alex's wife, his law firm, and the district attorney's office. You cannot engage in such activities." I had completed the task, Victoria. The issue at hand was whether I would mail these parcels or not. Victoria attempted negotiations, referencing our past. She argued the recording was illicit, but it wasn't. She suggested Alex lied about their conversations, yet the emails contradicted her claim. Ultimately, she displayed anger. "You are pitiful, Michael," she said. "This is exactly why I never cared for you. What type of man records phone calls and hires private investigators instead of talking directly to his wife? The kind who doesn't allow theft," was my response. That afternoon, Victoria signed the fair settlement agreement. I didn't dispatch the parcels to Alex's wife or law firm, though Victoria remained unaware of this. I don't aim to harm blameless individuals like Claire, and I am not vindictive enough to wish for ruined careers. However, the threat was genuine and potent enough. 2 days after Victoria left, Alex called me once more. "Do you believe you have triumphed?" he asked. His tone was now both angry and anxious. "I believe I avoided being victimized by a robbery, Michael. This doesn't alter the fact. She's still with me. That's for you and her to sort out now. However, Alex, if you attempt to reach me or threaten me again, those parcels will be sent. Is this understood?" He ended the call. Victoria and I were divorced within 6 months. She received everything the law entitled her to, nothing extra. I retained the house, my entire retirement funds, and my stock options. She moved in with Alex shortly after our divorce became finalized. 3 months later, I learned from a mutual acquaintance that Alex's wife had discovered their affair through alternative means and divorced him as well. It seems Victoria wasn't his only extramarital partner, and Claire eventually hired her own private investigator. Alex lost half of his assets in his divorce and was forced to resign from his law firm when the affair became public knowledge. Living with a man whose financial appeal diminished and was embroiled in messy divorce processes, Victoria endured another 4 months before departing. Have I been asked if I feel remorseful? For Victoria or for my handling of the situation, the answer is no. Instead, I feel sorrow for the person I believed she was. I grieve over the marriage I thought we shared. However, I don't regret taking steps to safeguard myself from individuals planning to deceive and ridicule me for my trusting nature. Alex's call intended to shame and demoralize me, paving the way for them to seize what I had earned. Instead, it provided me with the necessary means for self-preservation. His arrogance served as proof, his cruelty my fortitude. Occasionally, those who betray us equip us with instruments of our own retribution. Sometimes, their arrogance obscures the repercussions of their actions. Initially, Alex assumed he was facing a feeble individual who would yield easily under stress and surrender without resistance. However, he erred in his assessment. Through this experience, I realized that trust isn't equivalent to naivety. I also came to understand that safeguarding oneself isn't the same as being vengeful. Furthermore, I discovered that certain phone calls intended to harm you can unexpectedly offer salvation instead. If you find yourself in a similar situation, grappling with deceit, remember that proof is stronger than feelings. Records are more significant than arguments. At times, the most effective retaliation is simply denying them the opportunity to act against you as they intend. Julia believed she could engage in an affair and still enjoy an easy divorce. Alex presumed he could bully and manipulate me into conceding to their demands. Both learned that underestimating someone can prove costly. This is my narrative. Share your experiences below if you've ever witnessed overconfidence leading to downfall. Ensure you subscribe for further narratives on themes of justice, treachery, and the repercussions people experience when their hidden truths are proven. Thank you for tuning in. Join me again in the following account.